Good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. We're getting started right at 9:05 a.m. Not 9 a.m. on the dot as usual. It's taking a little bit longer to get rock and rolling just because X isn't automatically posting the stream. So I have to go in and do it manually, and it throws me off a couple of minutes. So hopefully they get that fixed and worked out so we can continue to start at 9 a.m. right on the dot. Or I guess I could just adjust, right? So, but with that, hope everyone had a good weekend. Hopefully, you were able to get outside, spend some time with your friends and family, and we did. We're lucky enough that the weather is 70 to 75 degrees. Woo! Beautiful, beautiful. So, got to spend a lot of good time with the daughter and the wifey, and hung out. So, it was good. It was good, but if you're new to the live stream, awesome. Welcome. If you're returning to the live stream, even better. Good to see you back on here. The first half of the live stream, we will cover Bitcoin, altcoins, stocks, and anything else that jumps out on the watch list. On the second half of the live stream, stick around. Make sure to put in your ticker symbol. We will do your chart request and put in all the details. Is it crypto? Is it stock? Whatever, because some of the ticker symbols overlap. And give us all the details. Are you in a long? Are you in a short? Are you thinking about buying as an investor? Blah, blah, blah. That way we can look at it through your lens and through a sniper lens at the same time and try to add value, right? Try to add value. So that's the main purpose of it. With that, Bitcoin continues to follow my chart. Woo. We didn't just lay this yellow path out yesterday or the day before or the day after that. We laid it out like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I put it on the handy dandy TA squiggly lines on the live stream and drew it out like that, right? So it's taking a little bit longer, but however the price action plays out, you know, isn't as important as the actual levels itself. And that the overall momentum is bearish and the overall momentum is to the downside. Why? Because we are in a bear market. And we talked about it, we covered it every step of the way. You've got everyone buying the dip crew all the way down, and then Bitcoin goes down 52%, right? That's not our strategy. Our strategy is to buy low and sell into FOMO, not vice versa, right? So on October 8th, quick recap if you're new to the live stream, we put out the Wyckoff distribution chart at 123,700. Got receipts for that. I'm sure if you've been following me for 4 months, you've seen countless receipts, and you're probably going to see countless more receipts because, all the new people don't believe, right? They don't believe. So trust the charts. Charts are always greater than the narratives, and the right charts are, right? So, and then on October 10th, we put out the Bitcoin bear market roadmap, right? There was a sell signal on the daily chart, candle closed below the trailing dots. And on the weekly chart, there was bearish divergence. There was many reasons why the top was in. And then you had to buy the dip crew, buy the dip crew, buy the dip crew. And then over here, we're talking about this is probably the last time you're going to be able to sell Bitcoin at $110,000 for a while. Because if you think about it, the Bitcoin bear market could last 12 months again, right? And then it takes another year or so to build momentum back up and start getting back to all-time highs, which is around that 110,000, and then of course up to 126. So it takes time for the momentum to reverse, and then it takes time for the momentum to build back up bullish. And we saw that already back in 2022, 2023, right? So uh, we saw it take a year to play out. A year. December, we were talking about bullish divergence, right? The breakout was happening. I bought the dip on January 4th at 16,800. I bought the dip with 5x leverage there, right? So it took an entire year to find the bottom. And then by the time it gets back up to, say, up here is, say $58,000 is 2020, 2025's 110,000, like similar area, right? Call it 58,000. By the time it got to 58,000, it was February 2024. And a lot of that was driven by the ETFs, right? The ETFs came out over here. So it may have taken longer to build up momentum, but the ETFs were launched over in January 2024 and price pushed up faster. So that could have been a catalyst why it went up even faster. But that's what happened. So here we are. If you're looking at it, if it takes a year again, we would be looking at oh yeah, this is the fractal that I had over here, right? No, it was over here. Sorry. So similar but different. Am I on? I'm on log. Come on, Jesse, you're on log. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I mean similarities. This obviously took longer, this consolidation, but to finish my thought process was that, if it takes time to play out again, I mean October is way over here to find a bottom. So it would take time to be able to sell your Bitcoin at $110,000 again, right? And that's what I was talking about over here. And then the buy the dip crew, and we are by the right dip crew, right? We're not by the dip crew. We are by the right dip crew. Let's buy the right dip, right? Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Obviously, for education purposes only, and hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way. Jack, thank you for reposting the stream. I appreciate that. Welcome back to the live stream. Good morning. Can you check out hymns? Sure. But we already checked it several times based off of requests. So we won't. It's not going to be a daily thing. We're not going to check like certain assets. We're not going to check daily, but we'll take a look at it today. I don't think it's been daily though, but just letting you know, Larry. Unless you're in the Discord, you could always tag me or the online portal. SGN. Give me more details, Larry. Is it crypto? Is it stock? All the details. That's just putting out a ticker symbol is not enough because we gotta search for it on the live stream. You want to keep the live streaming. So help me, help you, help me. Mighty Kirk, welcome back. Marcus Sniper in the house. Good morning. Jason, good morning. Welcome. So yeah, we drew this out. We had this fractal, but that fractal was suggesting a lot longer. Is it still possible that it plays out? Yeah, it's still possible. Which would mean that, let's see, you put this like this, it's possible there's one more push up, but it's not seeming likely, right? So, but similar thought, right? Sideways consolidation, let the trending dots catch up. And that's exactly what we said at 84,000. The trending dots were 84,000. Price was down here at 60,000, right? We said there's probably some profit taking on shorts. It's probably going to consolidate and let the trending dots catch up. The trending dots were 84,000. And then the trending dots today are below 69,000 at below 69,000. 68,000. It says right there, Jesse. $68,406. Wow. Okay. We'll get it figured out today. We'll get it rock and rolling. 68,400, right? I was trying to estimate. It actually tells you right there. Good one, Jesse. Good one. Good one. Good one. Uh, oh, I don't give financial advice. I don't give financial advice. But, this was a great time to short over here, right? You just got the bull trap. You just hit the exact same two sniper targets as April/March 2022. The exact same two targets, right? Then it starts to reverse back around, reverse back around. This was the time to short, right? That's shorting the bounce is the time to short. Shorting the bounce, right? And then of course shorting over here too, but that's a great time to short. So as time goes on, it becomes less and less. But you could have drawn this out like this, right? And it starts breaking down, let the training dust catch up, still breaking down, right? You could have redrawn it to make it look like that, right? And then it starts breaking down. So, but yeah, I don't get financial advice. London, UK, not so sexy news, aka Lawrence. Welcome, 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 welcome. What's up? What's up? What's up? Lawrence always reposting the stream, sharing on YouTube and X. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that's where we're at right now on daily chart. We will cover the weekly chart, 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart. So stick around on Bitcoin. But as you know, we've never taken a dollar of affiliate money or anything like that. We are our own people, own person, right? So we do just come in here and quickly plug Market Sniper. You got all the features over here on the website. The website can be accessed through Market Sniper Pro profile or Jesse Olson profile, either one. So if you want to learn more about it, we just went through another major upgrade on the website portal. It seems to be happening every single week. So it's hard to keep up on all the goodies, right? But once you're over here, we do have our own charting system. And it's not just a charting system, right? Otherwise, we would just use TradingView. And we still use TradingView as a bridge, but you can look over here. You have your own watch list. And then, of course, looks like I got to put on. We went through a major upgrade, so I probably got to put on all the sniper tools again. Candles, indicators, but they're all over here, right? So it's easy to do. You can do all, and we have more than just the sniper. We have many others like gap, auto trend lines, right? Auto trend lines. So I'm not drawing that myself. Auto trend lines, opportunity zone, all that. Indicators, sniper MA, sniper RSI. Candles. I mean, you could add them all, right? But so yeah, so you can add all of that. You can add whatever you want to the chart, right? That's under the indicator. So it's not, but you can filter just sniper only, and you can add like gap detection. Ooh, boy, do I love gap detection. So that's with gap detection. If you turn on gap detection, and you can see like the auto trend line here on SPY, it's breaking down. So it's another pending sell signal. And you got the gaps already drawn on there for you. The trend lines on there. QQQ, same thing, right? You got the gaps already built on for you. So gap detections. Not all gaps get filled, quote, but they do work great as targets, end quote, Jesse Olson. So there we go. We got the gaps built in, of course. Of course, we have got the gaps built in. Sell signal back here on February 3rd. We talked about TQQ kind of being a leading indicator, even though it's like part of QQQ. It's just a 3x leverage bull ETF. And so you even have the gap on the weekly chart showing at 1.8%. Uh, and so on and so on. Oh, I don't have the 200-week moving average on here. I'm gonna have to put that back on because we went through that major update. But TQQQ, you can see that already had a sell signal on the weekly chart, so it seems like it's ahead of QQQ, which is interesting. But I'm pointing it out because it's pointing it out because it's in the family and it could be the canary in the coal mine, right? So, and then of course we have the screener. You can, 4,100, almost 4,100 tickers that actually, um, that matter, right? So we don't have 20,000 tickers with meme coins and penny stocks that have no volume, right? We don't care about those. We want to trade the symbols that have volume, that matter, right? So, but it's pretty cool. We have our own sniper, uh, like our sniper filters like divergence and stuff. So you can do the bullish divergence. You could do this consolidation one's really good. Consolidation as well. I like 25 right now on weekly chart. Uh, and then you can see like, oh, and then you can add another filter. RSI, let's see, is this bullish? Okay, so 31 to between 31 and let's just say 45 for fun. What happened? This should be the weekly chart. Let me change that. 25. 25. Well, we'll play around with it later, but anyways, you have all that. You have the strategy builder. We're continuing to build that out. The alerts continue to build that out. Of course, you got news if you want. And then of course log the trade and all that goes back into the dashboard, all that stuff. So, and then we have the online community. We're still using Discord as a bridge. We're still using TradingView as a bridge. And then, of course, you also have the recorded coaching 70 plus hours as well. So all that on there, but not to spend too much more time on it. Bitcoin's breaking down. So we want to keep an eye on that. That's the daily chart. And if we get to the weekly chart, right? The weekly chart, it's right on track. It is right on track. It's actually ahead of schedule, but very similar to the 2022 fractal. So we talked about this. We talked about. Um, and it's, in my opinion, it's not going to rally to 80,000 to 85,000. So sorry. Obviously not financial wise, but the momentum is to the downside, and it would take a lot to get back up to 80 to $85,000. I'm not seeing that whatsoever. I'm not seeing that at all. The magnet is too strong, right? Price almost hit the 200-week SMA, got within 60,000. It's currently at 58,500. The magnet is too strong. Multiple weekly candle closes below target 3 is a higher probability that we're going to see target 4 get hit, right? So longer term target 4 is below $60,000. Price is at 64 and dropping. I do not see 80 to 85,000 at all. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't see that happening at all. I just see it continuing to bleed out. And of course, we mapped this out on October 10th. We put all these targets out on October 10th. We put that, hey, it could last an entire year, right? It could last an entire year. So we'll see. Maybe less, maybe longer. But in the past, it's been about from bottom to bottom, it's been 48 months, then 47 months, and now it could be 46 months, right? It's possible. So we'll continue to watch it out, but the weekly chart continues to be bearish. It continues to be ultra bearish, and you can see similarities to the fractal. These are candle closes only on the fractal, so you don't see these big wicks. You just see these closes. It's like right on track, almost right on pace. So may take another month or so to get down in there, but we'll see. I also think it hits. Well, I mean, it's so close now. I mean, I put out target 4 and target 5 when price was at, near $120,000, right? So the fact that it's only 9% away from target 4 and it was within 2.5% of target 4. I mean, the probabilities that target 4 is going to get hit are very high. Very high probability that target 4 is going to get hit. Then it may take a while to hit target 5. So once price is closing below target 4, then the probabilities continue to increase that target 5 is going to be hit. And on HODL, this blue line is representing that if Bitcoin ETFs like HODL retest the all-time low from January 2024, then Bitcoin would be below $40,000. It would be at $39,000. So that's what the blue line represents. I could probably type it on there. ETF low. Right? Yeah. There we go. So that's what the blue line represents. 38,000, 39,000-ish. So the January ETF low is over there. And if you look at it, HODL, right? That's the ETF low. January 2022, January 22nd, 2024. So if you see price come back down and retest the all-time low, it could go lower. It could go lower. But that seems very logical that these gaps would get filled, not all at once. Could. And then retest the all-time low, right? It seems very logical, in my opinion. So that's HODL on the weekly chart. But going back to Bitcoin, we still have other 64,630. Remember, bottom was in crew, bottom was in crew, bottom was in crew. And I've just been saying repeatedly that the momentum is to the downside on the daily, weekly, 2-week, 3-week, and monthly chart. Any bounce, expect the bounce to get sold off until proven otherwise. And if you look at it on the daily chart, this is from wick to wick, it was a 21% bounce. From wick to wick, it was about a 21% bounce, a little bit more, I think. So 21% bounces, all the market makers, all the market bosses are giving, right? They're giving 21% bounces. That's it. It's always less than what people hope who are trapped. People who are trapped in their long positions, they're not going to get a 70% bounce. And if they did, they would think that the bull run is back on anyways, right? But that's why it's called a bull trap, right? You bull trap them here. We said that was a bull trap. We set the bull trap. No, not we. I just mapped it out. But that's the weekly chart. Every week has been a lower close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 weeks in a row. This would be the 6th week. And we've talked about that. This is capitulation month, right? So if you go to the monthly chart, where's the monthly chart? This this has felt like the capitulation month, right? February capitulation month. So you had the sell signal on the monthly chart on January, and you have capitulation month in February. You had the sell signal May 2022, and June 2022 was capitulation month, and ended up closing below the 200-week SMA on the monthly chart. And we still have 5 or 6 days. So it's only $6,000 or $7,000 away from it, right? Make sure the mic's good. Mic's good. Okay. Check, 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 check. So, many faded the monthly MACD, and I was at the top. I was being a little more aggressive, competitively wise, and because I always say the bear market separates the real traders from the influencers. I said that in the last bear market. I said it's going to be very clear on who the real traders are versus who are just the buy the dip only crew and influencers, right? And I said it again in 2025. The separation is going to be real, and you're going to see real separation, and we have. And many of them sell courses, many of them sell training, many of them do that. Many of them I'm not saying, but I have received DMs from I don't even want to say, but anyways, I think they went to zero based off what they're saying, and you know, so you leave it at that. The DMs are for the DMs, so I don't want to air out any dirty laundry, but the bear market's real, and it's wiped out a lot of people, and I'm sure there's a lot more that have not told me that they've been wiped out, but large account with trading courses, all that stuff, right? People are getting wiped out. Whether they talk about it or post about it or they don't, most likely they're not. People are getting wiped out right now. All the warning signs were there. It was not a black swan event. And whether they admit it or not, some of them have gone to zero. I guarantee you. I guarantee some of them have gone to zero. So you want to align yourself on the right side of the trade. You want to be on the right side of momentum. You can counter trade. In the 70 plus hours of recorded coaching, I talked about you can counter trade. I just prefer to trade with the trend, up or down. I do counter trade from time to time, but it has to be a clear counter trade. Or I'd rather just be patient and wait for the next opportunity, which is buying the dip in an uptrend or shorting the bounce on a downtrend, right? And the overall trend in 2022 with the MACD bearish crossover is bearish. And then it crosses back over bullish, right? And then it crosses back over bearish, right? So this signal doesn't happen very often. And it's too lagging for me, but it's confirmation of that. When I point this out, and many experts are still calling for $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025, and this is crossing over in November, you just know that they don't understand momentum. You just know that they don't understand or have stared obsessively at charts as much as I have. It's not that I have some magic crystal ball. I don't have a magic crystal ball. Well, here's what I do have. I do have a strong ability to see the next move. I do have a strong ability of pattern recognition. And a lot of that, and it's not because I'm a genius. I'm definitely not a genius. I'm not a genius. But I've built up that tool, those those strengths over time. I love playing strategy games. I love chess. I used to be obsessed with golf, right? I was obsessed with chess when I was younger. All those games have helped me build those strengths. And now I'm obsessed with charts, and I still am. I've been obsessed with charts for, at least almost 7 years now. I've been obsessing. Like I've looked at charts before that, but I've been obsessing over charts for 7 years. I've been obsessing over the Bitcoin chart for 6 years, right? So obsess over the charts, right? So I'm always looking at it, my phone, computer, and that's what it takes. And that's what it takes. So, but you don't have to go through all of that. You can. There's 70 hours of recorded coaching, but I continue to go down the rabbit hole of automation, and I'm obsessing over the automation. So good things are happening. Good things are happening. Good things are happening. And you probably skip all of that, right? You probably could skip all that, but I don't have a timeline on it. But got some good things working in the pipeline that working on every single day. So again, the MACD bearish crossover is a lagging indicator. But I said, hey, the MACD is going to have a bearish crossover, and people are still calling for $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. And I'm like, you really don't know. Like I've pointed out that this was bearish divergence on the MACD. I pointed out that this was bearish divergence on the MACD, and then the crossover, right? And not only that, but obviously our own indicator spotted it with bearish divergence on the MACD on the sharpshooter RSI too, right? So you have monthly. This is all bearish divergence. The indicator is only picking up from back there, but depending on how you adjust the settings, it could just probably point out there too. But and then this is the lower high, a sneaky lower high. So bearish divergence, Mike's good. Bearish divergence followed by the lower high, RSI sell signal with the MACD crossover in November. Bear market confirmed on the monthly chart. It doesn't flip around the next day. It takes time for the monthly chart to flip back around. It takes time. So that's where we're at right now. And the main thesis was that while this was happening, that price would come back and retest the blue line, the 200-week SMA, before it makes a new all-time high. And now we're 2.5% away. Well, the wick was, right? And the probabilities continue to increase that we're going to hit it, right? So let's look at the 3-week chart. Like additional confirmation. Red trending dots. Red trending dots. No red trending dots. Candle close below the trending dots. Additional confirmation end of, or I guess it was November, right? So a lot of higher time frame confirmations were in November. We are in February, and people are still calling for new all-time highs. It's unbelievable. Actually, it is very believable. Excuse me. I don't know what that is. Can you give me the ticker symbol, all the details, crypto, stock? I don't know. Yes, we can, but give me all the details so I can search for it quickly. Otherwise, probably not. Sorry. So that's 3-week chart, 2-week chart, right? Sell signal on the 2-week chart, November, below the dots with a sell signal. Sell signal below the trending dots. Price came back down to 200. So all of that, right? All of those were confirmations. All of them. Bum, bum, bum. Oof. 64,300. Dang, it is going to catch up to my. It's going to catch up. It's going to hit it by the end of February. Woo. See. Maybe. Maybe, baby. We'll see. We'll see. That'd be epic. Well, not for everybody, but so we'll see. We'll see if it catches up or not. Regardless, it's more about the target and the momentum of the direction that we're heading is doing the opposite of $80,000 to $85,000. So that's Bitcoin. Uh, Bitcoin futures, same thing. Bitcoin versus gold. Woo-wee. Couple things about Bitcoin versus gold that we've been talking about. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. This is the first time in Bitcoin's history that the 200-week SMA is downward sloping. That's not bullish. That is bearish. That's not good. I've been pointing that out. And I've pointed out that Ethereum is downward sloping. That's not bullish. That is bearish. Longer term. I pointed out on altcoins. And I've been saying you don't want Bitcoin versus the dollar to have a downward sloping 200-week moving average. It's never happened before, and you would not want to see it. Then we might be in a prolonged bear market. And Bitcoin has never experienced. This is the one asterisk. This is the one thing that could be different this time is that Bitcoin has never experienced a .com crash. Bitcoin has never experienced a 2008 like crash. If we saw that type of a crash, I would fully expect Bitcoin to drop further, which means we start seeing candle closes below target 5, then we could see significantly lower prices on Bitcoin. And that's why I am not going to dollar cost average, just like I didn't dollar cost average the opportunity zone in 2022 that I laid out. I laid out the opportunity zone. Where is it? Let's see. I should have it over here. Right? Here's the opportunity zone. I had the exact same opportunity zone in 2022. And I still won't dollar cost average. I'll still wait to buy the right dip. Because what if we do see a .com? This fractal was representing this over here like that, right? So I was buying that right dip. I was buying that dip. It was a wedge, bullish divergence, all that. Oops. Oops. So opportunity zone, but I will still be patient and I will still wait to buy the right dip. I'd rather wait and buy this right dip over here than to dollar cost average and price goes down 20, 30, who knows? If there's a huge .com bubble crash or 2008 like crash, what if it comes down 60%? I would just rather stay in cash or be in a different asset and then buy the right dip, right? Because I don't want to hold it for, in a losing position. Personally, I don't want to hold it in a losing position. I'd rather have the money at least make 3, 4, 5%. I think Buffett's in like the highest cash position ever. So, but that makes for a good headline, but also he's probably got the most money he's ever had in the fund. So, you know, maybe it's the highest percentage that makes more sense, but just saying it's the highest cash position ever. Well, he's also had the most money ever too. So just got to keep that all in context. But I don't want to be holding a losing 30, 40, 50% position. I'd rather wait. And if the buy the dip scenario is actually way down here, that's even better. That's even better. So I'm optimistic to buy the right dip, whether it's down here or it's up here, right? I don't, I actually don't care. Actually, well, I do care. Uh, but I will buy the right dip no matter what. That's what I'm going to stick to. I'm not going to, even though it's an opportunity zone, historically, Bitcoin has been a good time to buy in the opportunity zone, but this time could be different. So we're going to stay on the right side of the trade again. Again, that's the plan. Hello, hello, hello. So that's where we're at. So that's Bitcoin. Let's go on the weekly chart and start going into the altcoins. It's gonna be glorious, glorious. XRP, we talked about it. Breaking this pivot point over here would increase the probabilities of price retesting 200-week SMA. It got very, very close. Ethereum, talked about how the monthly chart never made a new all-time high closing wise. It did on wicks in lower time frames, but the downward sloping 200-week moving average is not good. That is not bullish. That is bearish. Expect bounces along the way. Let's go to the monthly chart. Chain link, downward sloping 200-week moving average. So many were calling for new all-time highs, even though the downward sloping 200-week moving average, right? It's not bullish. That's bearish. Cardano, same thing. Downward sloping 200-week moving average. That's not bullish. That's bearish. It's been in a bear market since 2021, September of 2021. There's never a guarantee. All go downward sloping. H bar, downward sloping. XLM, downward sloping. Near, downward sloping, right? MSTR. This fractal is still playing out. MSTR, we've been talking about it since 2021, has been the canary in the coal mine for Bitcoin. It has. We talked about the Adam and Eve double top pattern way back here in October. There was a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart back in October. Sell signal back in August. While the talking heads are calling for $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year in 3-month span, where Bitcoin would increase its market cap, excuse me, $2 trillion. And in the history of Bitcoin, it has never increased the market cap more than $1 trillion in a 3-month span. And they're calling for it to increase $2 trillion within a 3-month span. I mean, they really have not even studied the charts, I don't think. Or they're just doing it for clicks, because bullish talk always gets more clicks than bearish talk. Trust me. I know. Mainly referring to Ethereum. Don't care about downward slope on alts. Most of will probably stay suppressed. I'm not really sure exactly what you're saying, Corey. People who don't care about downward sloping will probably stay. Yeah, I think that's what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, if you're not paying attention to it, and now they're down 80, 90%. So they're stuck. They're called forced hodlers. They didn't They don't have diamond hands on purpose. They missed the top again, or they missed the top. Well, I guess some of the altcoins they missed the top from 2021, and every bounce they hoped that. I mean, I hoped that we would see altcoins go to the moon. Honestly, but the reality was it wasn't. So you have to, if you're good at hitting the buy button, you better be good at hitting the sell button too. It works both ways. So, but anyways, we talked about if we get weekly candle closes below, starts with daily candle closes, but weekly candle closes below this pivot point as well, the probabilities increase that we're going to see MSTR hit the 200 week SMA, and it has. And it's still following this previous cycle fractal pretty similarly. And we could be buying the right dip again in October, right? In October. So we'll see what happens. But first, could see much lower prices, maybe even fill these gaps down here. The canary in the coal mine. We're going to cover the NASDAQ, SP 500, all that. But since we're here, let's cover gold and silver. Again, many were calling for the top. I was saying I'm not so sure. The higher time frames are still ultra bullish. It could reverse back around, and it did. Many are calling for the top on gold again, and I said I'm not so sure. The higher time frames remain ultra bullish. We could at least see a lower high put in or additional bearish divergence. I put this fractal out from over here that maybe it could play out as deja vu again. It's possible. It's not exact, but it's similar, right? It's not exact, but it's similar. Silver looks a little bit different. It was more bearish, bigger move down, but it doesn't mean it couldn't pump back up, put in a lower high first, or create bearish divergence. So that's a possibility. Dollar's flat. We put out this price action squiggly lines way back in January or a month ago, and we saw a big move down, pump up. Now we're seeing, however it plays out, could see a bigger breakout to the upside. VIX is still bullish, still elevated above 21, which lines up perfectly with the NASDAQ and SP 500 drop, which we're going to cover all of that. Stay tuned. We covered a lot on Bitcoin. We have a lot more to cover. And AGQ dropped 73%. Looks a little bit different than the actual silver chart. Would be interesting if silver pumped all the way up and this gap was filled. We're still in the daily chart. What else? Hive, Marathon Digital, Hut, Riot, CLSK, all those. I think that's about it. Let's go over to Magnificent 7 and then some. SQQQ is bullish. All right, so ANF. They gapped it up on us, didn't allow us in on ANF. They gapped it down on us, didn't allow us an entry down there. I don't like to chase SMCI. Tesla coming into the zone we've talked about. We've talked about it. There's a lot of reasons for it to come back down in this price area. It's bearish on the daily chart. It's bearish on the weekly chart. It's getting below the trailing dots on the 2-week chart. Monthly chart seems like it wants to come back down and retest the trailing dots, which, could be up here at 350 by the time next month trending dot happens. Mic's good. Okay. Every time I accidentally touch the mic, I'm always paranoid about it because I've gone 20 minutes in the past. 383 is the trailing dots for the 3-week chart right now. So a lot of reasons. And of course, you got the 200-week SMA lurking down there at 270. So it's breaking down right now. What else? TQQQ. Woo! I haven't checked my puts. I have not checked my puts. You don't want, like I talked about in recorded coaching, you don't want to stare at the P&L, unrealized P&L. You don't want to stare at the unrealized P&L because if it's cooking in your favor, you may get out of the position too early. If you're negative on the unrealized P&L, you might deviate from your original plan and get out before it reverses in your favor, right? So I do look at it, but I don't stare at it, and I don't look at it every day. So I keep an eye on it, but I don't stare at it. Stare at the charts. Stare at your original plan. Make sure the whole plan was laid out in advance. And in this case, the puts expire in March. I think it's March 20th. So I have to make a decision. If we're seeing the next big drop this week or next week, and then there's going to be some consolidation, I have to decide if I'm going to close out the next bigger drop before the consolidation because of the time decay, right? The time decay on options. So I'll have to make a decision, but still holding the puts right now, and they are good till March 2020. So I'll have to see how it's playing out in real time, and eventually, it's getting, you got the gap down here, 200-week moving average, all that stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. Also depends on like velocity and all of that, right? Versus the time decay. If it's pushing down hard and fast and it's hitting specific targets, probably start closing out the puts and try to push some of it and close out some of it, right? So stick to the plan overall, and that's part of the plan. So we'll see. But one thing that would change the plan is that it just crashes hard, like 20% or 10%, 10, 15, 20% is probably going to consolidate after that. So then at that point, I would probably just close it out after a huge move down. So if we do see like a major move down, for example, this move was 15%. So if we saw like another 15%, I would at least probably close one of the puts, start closing out puts, or all of them, depending on, because I don't want to get into consolidation and let the time decay gradually give back realized gains. So that's why I don't teach options. I do not teach options. There's layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, and most people aren't ready for that. Bitcoin was much easier for me to trade. I started in options, and then I went to Bitcoin with leverage, and it was so much easier than options, in my opinion, because there's no time decay. Yeah, there's funding fee rates, but it's nothing compared to time decay. So PLTR still in this target area over here. Bada bing, bada boom. I just got lazy. I didn't draw all the targets. Netflix still bearish. Dow Jones Transportation looks like top, looks like a lower high, looks like it's coming down. Amazon, let's jump to the weekly chart. It's bearish on the weekly chart. UNH still bearish. Downward sloping 200-week moving average on UNH. For the first time since 2008. Is that a warning sign? Ooh. Is that a warning sign? I didn't even realize that. Is that a warning sign? Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go a monthly chart. You can probably see it better. downward sloping, monthly chart, candle closed below the 200. That was 2008. How did that look in the past? Uh, a lot of sideways till then, but that was a big bull run. Came all the way back. Huge drop. 2008. If UNH dropped 78% in 2008, Bitcoin would drop way more. It would drop way more. Amazon in the dot-com bubble era dropped like 92%. So we would see Bitcoin probably drop at least 90%. And this is the first time it's been downward sloping since 2008. It's downward sloping. And it's dropped 63% so far. So UNH is crashing like it's 2008. That could be a major warning. So keep that in mind. Buy the right dip. Whatever the asset is, buy the right dip. Don't just, well, I'm not going to give financial advice, but I wouldn't, me personally, I'm not going to just buy because it seems to be a better value. Because it could go on sale, they can go on deeper sale, and then it could go on a deeper sale. And you could actually buy it on clearance at 80, 90 or more percent off. That is so much better than buying it 40% off. If you buy something 40% off and the next day, I mean, I did this in real life, right? I took the daughter to Target. She loves Target. My wife loves Target. I like Target. And she saw this rocking dinosaur and she loved it. We saw it twice, but I'm not going to pay full retail. It was $40, right? Of course, I could have, but the principle is I'm not paying retail $40. Then I saw it on sale. I'm like, and I took a picture of the wife. I'm like, ooh, it's 25% off. I'm like, oh, wait. Still sitting there. And she's got so many toys already. And then the wife was at Target with her and she's like, it's 50% off. And I'm like, buy it. I'll give you $20 right now. And 50% off, right? For the exact same thing. So one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. I get that. But one Bitcoin at 126,000 or one Bitcoin at 50,000 or one Bitcoin at 25,000, right? What that means is if you were able to sell Bitcoin at 100,000 and you're able to buy Bitcoin at 50,000, one Bitcoin is now two Bitcoin, and two Bitcoins are two Bitcoins, right? So there you go. If you sold at 125 and you bought at 25, one Bitcoin is now five Bitcoins. Wow, that's crazy. Microsoft is in a bear market on the monthly chart. So there are some warning signs that the big players are in, and we call this out. We call this out in real time, even on the live streams, everything. Bearish divergence at the top, double top, bearish divergence, selling it. One target, two target, three target, four. Bounce back up, target four. Fill the gap. 200-week moving average, more. I've been reading too many Dr. Seuss books to my daughter every day. Oh my God. One of them, the socks one is so hard. It's such a tongue twister, but it's fun. It's still fun. She loves them. She makes me and my wife read her book, like read the books probably like if I'll read her 2 to 3 books per day, she's making the wife read her like 7 books per day. It's like 10 books a day. It's crazy. But yeah, this is Microsoft. We talked about it. We talked about it. Come back, retest the 200-week moving average. Maybe it gets a massive bounce, maybe not. But fill this gap, and it did, and it did. Russell 2000, pending sell signal, the top is in. Meta, Dow Jones, pending sell signal, the top is in. Sorry. NASDAQ, the top has been in. The top has been in October 2025. Double top, but never made a new wick higher. Another sell signal. And now it's already retested target 1. Most likely it's going to hit target 1 again. Break this line over here. Break target 1, come into target 2, so on and so on. The main thesis is that we are going to retest the 200-week SMA before making a new all-time high, just like Bitcoin, just like MicroStrategy, just like Microsoft is about to, just like UNH. Gaps, SP 500, the top is in. Google, dollar, NVIDIA, just pure sideways. Maybe it'll have a double top as well. Maybe it closes this miniature gap, creates a double top. That's possible. Apple could always come back up for a double top, triple top, quadruple top. We don't know. SQQQ, this is the inverse of the QQQs, 3X. These are designed for more intraday trading. And I wouldn't hold it long term. But this is a way to short the market without actually putting on a short or buying puts. You could buy the SQQQ. But like I said, I wouldn't hold them very long because they're designed to lose money over time. So that's about it there. And then let's circle back. Let's look at Bitcoin 64,684. And let's get into some of the chart requests, answer some questions, all of that. Let's go back up to the top, put on some music while we're searching. Comments. Hymns. I mean, the daily chart is ultra bearish. The weekly chart is ultra bearish. The 2-week chart, 3-week chart, and monthly chart are all bearish. So, it would be a counter trade. And those bounces would be sold off. So it's not interesting for me right now to want to buy a dip. It's so bearish right now. And yes, that could mean a local bottom, but how big of a bounce is it going to be when the momentum is so far to the downside, right? that, you know, for me, it's not like it's completely different than say over here when everything is bullish, you get some massive pumps, right? But in a downtrend, you get some massive drops. 74% from wick to wick in 131 days. 76%. It's not something I'm looking to buy the dip on. It'll take time for could there be bounces? Sure. Could you counter trade? Sure. But I'm looking for buying the right dip, and it's going to take some time, right? Even if the bottom is in, which I don't think it is, right? You could get chopped up before an actual bigger move happens, right? And it just takes time to coil, and it takes time, right? And it may not. It may consolidate, coil, like it's going to break out, and it just keeps going, right? So it doesn't look great. And so it doesn't look interesting to me for a buy the dip, but to each their own. To each their own. What else? SGN. I don't know which one it is. So I don't think you put in more details. SM. Let's see. So here's an instance of HIMS, right? Bearish. It did get that bounce. 57% bounce. And then crash right back down, right? So SMR. It's in a bear market. It's in a bear market, so it's not interesting for me for a long position. Same thoughts as all these other bear markets. It's bearish on the daily. So like even this bounce is like 57%, and that was it. You can see that, okay, 57 bounce sounds great, but you're not going to capture 57%. That's like, by the time you're getting close, like you gapped up into a buy signal, right? And then to the wick is 19%. So the sell signal is like 1.4%, right? Trying to capture that one bounce, where the difference is drop and then shorting the lower high is 65%, right? So trading with the trend is always better than counter trading, in my opinion. Do I counter trade sometimes? Yeah, for the perfect setup, for the right setup. If I'm seeing it clearly, yeah, I will. But for the most part, I'm trading with the trend, and it's bearish. It's in a bear market. So, what else? How is your position still green? The only way your position is still green is if you bought on February 5th or February 6th. Otherwise, there's no way your position is green. Like it's there's no way. Unless you bought on those couple of days recently, but it's bearish on the daily, weekly, 3-week. It's making new all-time lows. So there's no end in sight, right? There's nothing to compare it to in the past. So you're just guessing. I would have to wait for a higher probability of reversal. It's just guessing at this point. Even the bottom is guessing, right? Okay, yeah, you do have some bullish divergence, but the higher time frames are so bearish, they might get sold off. The bullish divergence might get sold off. So ay ay ay. You said MSTX. Ay ay ay. Well, MSTR, same thing. You're in a bear market, and I already showed you the chart. So, what else? IBRX. Yeah, so on IBRX, it's it's back to a buy the dip season. The daily chart is ultra bullish. Now, personally, this would be chasing to me, and I would rather buy I'd wait for a pullback to buy the dip, but that's just me. Uh, doesn't mean it couldn't go much higher first, but it has switched to more of the buy the dip season than it is not buy the dip season. So it was in a bear market since February 2021. It's a 5-year bear market, right? Yeah, 5-year bear market. And here it is. Higher time frames have flipped bullish. The 200-week SMA has started to curl back up as well. So a lot of positivity for Immunity Bio Inc. IBRX. So I would just wait for a pullback. There is a possibility that something like that plays out, right? And then that, right? So fill this gap down here at $4 possibly. Back test the 200-week SMA, right? hasn't back tested it, just gapped right up. So doesn't mean it will. It's just an idea that, hey, what if it comes down, there's a lower high, comes down, retraces, a retracement is healthy, and then builds up the energy for the next move higher, right? And that would be, you know, well, I already drew the arrow. So that's kind of how I would like me personally, like I'd rather wait for a setup like that than to chase it right now. I hate chasing. So I would just so if I felt like I was going to chase it, I would just move on and go find something else or put in all my alerts on and stuff like that. So but yeah, looks like it's buy the dip season right now. Mm, Corey does a downward 200. To clarify, I think you mean the 200 week. On my chart, it's the SMA, but it's the 200 week SMA. Mean there's a good chance the asset never recovers. I mean, it just means it's a prolonged downtrend, right? That it's not. It probably will take some time for price to return and reverse back around, but I don't think it. I I guess you could kind of correlate the two, but uh, one is purely off the charts, and the other one is based off of fundamentals. So, you know, I don't really link the two together. I just link it as if it's downward sloping 200-week moving average, it just means it's going to take time for like a possible bull market again for that asset. So, what else? Oh, and then yeah. So not necessarily for Ethereum, and not necessarily that it won't survive, just more that it could be in a prolonged bear market. BSK. Yeah, but your comments are confusing. Yeah, yeah. No, I knew that. I knew that. I thought you meant like MSTX, and then you're like mistyped, and then you actually meant MSTR. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, just give me all the details so I could search for the right one and talk about the right one. But yeah, I covered both of them, so you're good. You're good. Check out BSK. Okay, last one. BSK, last request of the day, and then we'll double check Bitcoin again. Blue Sky, thank you for putting in all the details on the 3-month chart. Anything about the monthly is interesting stuff. Okay. Daily chart. You said 3-month chart. So daily chart. Monthly chart. 3-month chart, huh? Is it the bottom? Maybe. Could be the bottom. Even on the 3-month chart, that could be bullish divergence, right? And had that big drop, and then it's coiling up, right? It's coiling. Now, could it coil for longer? Yes. How long? I don't know. I don't have a magic crystal ball. But it is coiling right now. So, and it does take time for the ship to get turned around. You can see that it's been coiling since this bottom of 2015, 11 years. So then you have to go to the lower time frames. There was a buy signal. Now there's a pending sell, still below the 200. But weekly chart, let me zoom in here so we can see it a little bit better. battling. So still have some work to do. That's about it. I mean, it could. The other positive is that you if your uranium if uranium was leading the way, it already broke out, right? So uranium led the way and it coiled till 2023, pumped, came all the way back down to the coil area, then pumped, right? So Blue Sky Uranium Corp, did you is it lagging time wise? Could it pump next, or is there something completely different and wrong about it? Bullish divergence on the monthly chart, bullish divergence on the 3-month chart. Weekly chart is bullish as of now. Daily chart is bullish and consolidating as of now. So could be interesting. Uh, I don't have time. It was the last minute, but since you're market sniper in the house, for sure, I got time for you, buddy. I got time for you. I got time for you. But H. Smith, sorry, buddy, I got to cut it off. Early bird gets the worm, but Win Diesel, sure. Venture Global. I think you've had me look at this one before, right? Yep, you got it. You got it. Yeah, uranium already broke out, and you're looking at a Blue Sky Uranium Corp. So, the question is it lagging time wise? Like, you know more about that asset than I do. I've never even charted it before. So, you just have to kind of think like, is it positioned to break out next? Because uranium already broke out. So, will money rotate? Not necessarily, but those are the questions you want to ask and do a thorough side by side comparison. But uh Venture Global had a bounce. Looks like it could be breaking back down. Let's look at the higher time frames. Still bearish on the weekly chart. There's not a lot of chart history, so I'm not going to be able to add too much. I don't like to spend too much time on an asset that doesn't have a lot of chart history because there's nothing really to compare it to. And, you could say that it's been in a bear market since IPO, right? So since the chart history started January 2025, 1 year ago, it's been down only, right? So it's been down only. So if you're bullish on it and it breaks out and the higher time frames are flipping bullish as well, then there is a gap here. Here, let's go gap, gap. Uh, remind me tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a gap. Gap. Oh, do the dash line so I know what it is. So it could be a retracement. Maybe we'll see a higher low. The higher low would be the higher probability anyways, because you have a low here and you have a low here and you have a lower high, right? So it's making lower highs and lower lows, and that's the trend. The higher time frames are bearish. So If you do see a pullback with a higher low and it's consolidating and the higher time frames look like they could be reversing back around, then maybe you see a bounce up to the gap. So I don't know. Is that interesting enough? I don't know. I guess so. I guess so. You know more about VG than I do. I'm not, it's not really on my radar. So maybe it should be. I don't know. But with that, let's see. Let's wind it up with Bitcoin. There we are. The Bitcoin continues. The Bitcoin continues to follow my chart. You know it. You know it. You love it. Or you hate it. Either way. But even though bullish charts always outperform bearish charts on clicks, I will always show you bullish charts or bearish charts, whatever they are. And we will continue to sniper the markets together. Thank you for all of your support. Hope you have a good rest of your day on this Manic Monday, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Thanks for all of your support. Appreciate it. Adios.